Hi everyone, this is my friend Jodie. Jodie is a midwife. She's a Christian. She's a mother of three, and recently she's an author. Jodie, do you want to just show us your book?
There it is, Bringing Forth Life, God's Purposes in Pregnancy and Birth.
Yeah, I have a copy as well, but mine's on a Kindle, so it's not as colourful. So yeah, I wanted to chat to you particularly about your book, and yeah, being a Christian and being a midwife. So I think the first question that might be of interest is just like, what's one thing you always tell women or couples whom you support as a midwife?
I feel like probably the most common thing that I end up saying to people
Yeah.
is, yes, that's absolutely normal. Yes. I think whether it's, the aches and pains of pregnancy or whether it's a baby who doesn't want to sleep except for on their body. Yeah, commonly that's absolutely normal and that's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So that's reassuring for those who like who's watching this video. It's like, whatever it is, it's normal.
In most cases, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's good to just keep asking, and hopefully the answer is normal. Your book is about pregnancy and about birth, and from a Christian perspective. What I found interesting when I read it was that the parallels that you draw between like pregnancy and birth and Jesus, which I hadn't actually like connected or heard anyone else talk about it. I don't want to spoil the book because I want people to read it for themselves because there's lots of really great things about it. But wondering whether you can share maybe one aspect of how you've connected pregnancy and birth and Jesus.
Yeah, well, I think in the Bible, the God of the Bible is a God who brings forth life. And as humans and as women, when we give birth to babies, that's one way in which we share with God in his work. And it is hard work and it's painful to bring forth life in a broken world for us in our different experiences, and also for God. If we look at the very center of the Bible is Jesus' suffering and work on the cross to bring forth new life for us, and in fact to give us new birth. So I think the parallels are right there in the center of the Bible.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just never really thought about it, and I just really appreciate you just stating it. Like it's like, oh, duh, like why didn't I think of that? I wanted to ask you a little bit of a tricky question. So there is a passage in the Bible in 1 Timothy 2:15. So let me just read it out for you. So it's about women. But women will be saved through childbearing, if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with propriety. I feel like that's often a tricky verse because people are not sure how to interpret it. I wonder whether you had any thoughts about it, like of what it means.
Yeah, I mean, I think first up, there are a lot of different understandings of that verse. But I think what Paul is alluding to there is the way that the childbearing experiences and motherhood are so powerful in sanctifying us, in transforming us, in helping us live out the salvation that Jesus has given us. So it's not that it can, cleanse us from wrongdoing or replace the work of Jesus in any way, but these experiences are really powerful as we walk in Jesus' footsteps in bearing the cost of bringing forth life. And we're not just pointed back to what he's done for us, but we're also forced and willingly, hopefully, to put this other little person before ourselves in a very physical, bodily way, and in our lifestyle and in all different changes. And I think it really changes us and helps us to be more like Jesus through these experiences. There are many other ways in which people, take up their cross and follow Jesus and experience hardship in doing that. But this is a really powerful opportunity for many women. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. I just have one final question for you. I was just wondering who you would recommend this book to, and I guess what would they when they read the book?
Yeah, sure. So, as I was writing this book, I was really thinking of the women and couples who I've worked with or who I've been in church with who are becoming parents for the first time and approaching these really new experiences. So, absolutely, people like that should read it. And there's lots of stories of different women and families and a variety of experiences. But as I'm going through it, I think it's an important topic for us all to understand how significant these experiences are for people, and by doing that, I think then we can better support them, whether that's in our families or friends or in our church communities. Um, and I think it elevates these experiences, which aren't always often talked about in churches, but they're really big for those going through it, and they're really significant in terms of the Bible's understanding of life and birth and all this as well. So I think for all of us, getting a bigger picture, looking at things from God's perspective, will shape the way we respond to and care for those around us as well.
Yeah, thanks, Jodie. I've been reading your book, and I've been sharing what I've been reading with my husband. And even though we don't have any children, he's like, "Oh, that's really interesting." So after I finished it, he's gonna, I think, read it as well, because I think
Oh,
you
good
said,
on
like,
him.
it's even if it's not us having children, like a child, like I think it's good to reflect on how God has made us and made each other, and how we can support one another, like you said, like. And it's something that, like, I remember early on in your book, you talk about how childbearing and giving birth is often hidden, and often, like, before, culturally, it was more like seen, or you can see others, so like, or know more of other people's stories. And nowadays it's more like I guess hidden, so you don't get that insight.
Yeah, I think that's right. A lot of women, when they have their baby, they usually haven't seen another woman give birth, so it can be quite foreign and scary and just unknown. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing I liked about your book was it's not just thinking about, I guess, a Christian perspective, but there's also lots of practical things about the changes of the body, the chemical changes, the bodily, changes, that things that I was like, oh wow, like this is what is happening to our body, or like, the movement, or the stretching of the skin, or whatever it is. Like, yeah, so I think that's also really helpful for people who've never had children before and don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I'm really trying to bring together the physical way that our bodies work with the emotional experience and a spiritual perspective and all the social changes, and actually see how they impact one another, and they're not separate parts of who we are, but this is a holistic experience that impacts every part of ourselves and our lives. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone, I'm going to put the link in the description notes so that you can go find Jodie's book. I highly recommend it, and I think you should get it for yourself, and also for people in your family or your church who are having babies for the first time. Get them, share it with them, buy them as a gift. All right, thanks, Jodie, for coming on and
Thank
chatting with
you.
us. All right, bye.